Welcome to Roary's Roundtable, an opportunity to talk the game of football with our pal Roary, presented by University of Michigan Credit Union. My name is Chris Fritching.
Hi, I'm Pat Sherrill.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about line play. Is that right? Offensive line play. I got it now.
I know it's a confusing concept for you, Coach, but yeah, let's talk some offensive line here. There's a lot of important stuff that we can talk about. So what do you say?
I'm ready to go. I mean, again, as we've said before, Roary's been spending a lot of time during this quarantine in the classroom, watching game film, studying the game of football just a little bit more in depth. And we just thought this was the perfect opportunity to help Roary educate children, parents, and coaches on the basics in the game of football. Let's head to the class. Professor Roary, Coach Roary, are you ready? I think he's ready, Coach Pat.
Let's do it. Let's go, Roary. Let's talk a little bit of offensive line play, okay? Now, Roary, there's a few different blocks that we can talk about, okay? And I know we spent the last segment talking about formations and lining up and the importance of splits, but let's talk a little bit about some run blocking, okay? All right, run blocking. Now, again, it all starts with that good balanced stance, okay? So you're going to be in that good balanced stance. Now, Roary's got the offensive line drawn up here, and what he has over what would be the right tackle, okay, is a defensive end. All right, so there's your center in the middle. Roary's got a right tackle out there with a defensive end lined up. Okay, now if this defensive end, I know, Roary, I know defense you don't care about when you're playing offensive line, but when you're playing offensive line and you got somebody that's lined up right across from you, Roary, okay, and it's our responsibility to block this person. All right, what we're going to call this is a base block. Okay, a base block. Now, a base block means simply you got somebody straight ahead from you, right? And that's your job, okay, to block that person. Okay, so a few things that you want to keep in mind when we're base blocking, all right, is taking a nice first short step, right? We want to take short, choppy steps when we work. Now, when you're out at camp, Roary, we always do that drill, that duck walk drill, right? We want short 6-inch steps, right? Footwork is really important when we're trying to push somebody off the line of scrimmage, drive somebody off the line of scrimmage, okay? So short, choppy footwork, all right? And then the next important thing is our strike, we call it, okay? Getting our hands in or our paws in on that defender, Roary, okay? And now what we're aiming for, yeah, Roary, so very good. So what we always tell our campers is, all right, we want our thumbs up, making the letter what? What was that letter, Roary? Letter W, right? A letter W stands for what, Roary? It stands for winning. Okay, when our hands are like this, all right, we have a better chance of winning that block. When our elbows get out wide, Roary, and our thumbs are together like this, it stands for the letter what? It stands for a loss. Okay? All right, we're not gonna lose that, or we're not gonna win that block if our hands get outside and our elbows get outside the framework of our body. Okay, so we want to make sure that our elbows are in tight, our thumbs are up, and we're striking the number of that defender. Okay? And we got our hands inside. And then it's simply bringing our hips, bringing our feet with us, and driving that person straight off the ball, right? Very good, Roary. So that's our base block. Okay?
Take it easy, Roary.
Yeah, I know,
I think
right?
Roary's ready.
You got a camera there. You got to keep running, okay? I know you get all excited talking about this stuff, okay? So a base block is simply that. Okay, now, Roary, the next block we want to talk about is let's talk about a down block. Okay, so say you're still playing right tackle and you got somebody that's lined up, say, over your right guard. Okay, maybe it's a defensive tackle, right? Maybe it's a what we call a 3-tech, or maybe that defensive end. Yeah, no, that's fine, Roary. That's okay. Maybe that defensive end pinches down. Okay, all right. So now, even though we're still playing right tackle, there's times in our offense, right, in our plays where we're responsible for blocking down on that defensive lineman. All right, so our footwork changes a little bit, and our base block footwork generally coming straight off the ball. All right, now when we're working on our down footwork, all right, it changes a little bit. Right, it's important to step and understand our play side footwork, all right, and our backside footwork, things like that. So generally, you're going to take that same short footwork, right? It doesn't matter. You know you got more distance to cover. All right, we don't want to take long footwork and get our base all out of whack. All right, we're going to take those short, choppy footwork, right? Usually leading with that play side foot, okay? And we're blocking down on that defensive tackle, all right, to help set up what we're going to talk about next, all right? And that's a pull, all right? So actually, Rory, you can leave that. Go ahead and leave that same diagram that you just had right there, okay? Put that defensive tackle back there. Yep. Offensive tackle is blocking down. All right, sometimes what we can do as offense is set it up so that we block down with the tackle, and then we're going to do what we call pull that play side guard, all right, that right guard. All right, now pull simply means that person, that right guard, he's going to pull behind his teammates, all right, behind his teammate, and maybe block a linebacker that's flowing over the top, or who knows, maybe he's got to kick out even a corner or a safety up in the box, but it's a little bit more of a schematic thing. So to be a pulling guard, or sometimes tackles pulls, I mean, shoot, even sometimes the center pulls, all right? You got to be able to move your feet. Even though these guys are really big, they're really agile and they have really good footwork, okay? And we'll cover some of the technical footwork side of it in our summer camp videos, but this is good to see on film, okay? So that's a down block by the right tackle and a pull block by your right guard, okay? Now the last block I want to talk about here really quickly, all right, is what we call a zone block. Now, this has become more and more popular over the years, all right, because it gives linemen a little bit more freedom, all right, not so much thinking involved. You're simply, instead of blocking a man per se, or a defensive lineman, you have a linebacker you have to block. Now you're blocking a zone, okay? So anybody that enters into your zone is who you're responsible for. So say we're going to run a zone right play, and there's different zone type of plays, inside zone, outside zone. But generally speaking, everybody on the offensive line, if we're running zone to the right, is going to move at some type of an angle, whether it's a 45-degree angle, and you're just going to continue up that field on that 45-degree angle zone. And you're going to block anybody that comes into your zone. All right, now, I know it sounds easy, but there are some technicalities to it. Your running back's really important here, because your running back's got to be able to see where that crease comes open. And so there's a lot of communication, a lot of practice that goes into it. But those are 4 different types of blocks that you can run as an offensive lineman.
Sounds pretty complex.
Yeah, I mean, I know we just spent 10 minutes or so talking about it, but there's so much more that goes into it, right, Rory? I mean, you got to sit down in the classroom. You got to understand, what position you are, what you're trying to accomplish as an offense, what your responsibility is, what your teammates' responsibility is, and so yeah, it's pretty complex.
So you can take what Rory's doing on the whiteboard and transfer that to what we're doing on the football field. That's what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Before Lions players even go out onto the football field to practice, they spend hours in a classroom just like this. Now, sometimes they're up on the board drawing up different formations and things of that nature. Sometimes they're watching it on film, but they're always studying in the classroom before they can even get out and practice it, right? And so it's a great visualization. You're able to visualize and see what you're supposed to be doing, on the chalkboard or on the film. And then once you get out on the field, it helps take some of the thinking out of it. Coaches talk about that quite a bit, right? If you're out there and you're thinking a lot, sometimes it can slow you down, right? But if you know where you're supposed to be, you know your job, and you know your responsibility, you can speed up and play fast, right? And that's what coaches want, and that's what players ultimately want too.
It's pretty neat. Well, in this time of quarantine, Rory, you're really helping add to the learning capabilities of football players all around the state, all around the country, maybe even all around the world, Rory. You're bringing this excitement and education to football fans all around the area. And so thank you, Rory, for drawing. Thank you, Coach Pat, for talking about offensive line play.
Yeah, one thing you can do, maybe practice this kids on mom and dad at home. I don't know, you get a little extra time out in the backyard, practice on them. I don't know, it might be good for everyone.
You mean like actually make a base block on your mom or dad?
Yeah, why not, right? What do you think, Rory?
A great way to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Rory, we thank you for being here. Thank you for drawing and doing a great job of helping us learn a little bit more about the technicalities of offensive line play. Coach Pat, thank you for walking us through that offensive line play. I know there's more, but we'll get to that at another episode. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of Roary's Roundtable.